Welcome back. Today I want to talk about how can we test our roll-up of consciousness. And if you know what that means, it means you've been paying attention on this channel, because this idea of understanding that your consciousness has arisen back towards the brain, if you know what that means, then you really understand the heart of yoga. This is really the heart of it. And so I want to get into understanding what that is. And one of the very best ways that we can really understand it is to test ourselves. And this kind of testing is so important because I figured out very early on, you go into the martial arts, if you say you can do something, we're gonna know. Either you can do it or you can't. But you go into the spiritual world and people say, oh, this and oh, that. And how do we test them? How do we know if this is for sure? Do they actually understand? And so rather than worrying about testing the rest of the world, we'll never finish, right? But let's test ourselves. Let's investigate and make sure we're actually having a roll-up of consciousness into the heart or beyond. What does that mean? What does that look like? How do we test that? Let's get into it. So I think the idea of Kundalini is very common. Everybody kind of knows, or everybody's kind of heard about Kundalini. So you might have this sensation of energy, as if it is energy, running up your spine, going up your spine, running up into the brain. Maybe it explodes out the top of your head. Maybe you have this big experience with it. Maybe you feel a jolt of lightning go through you. Maybe you have a tickling at the base of your spine. Maybe that tickle goes all the way up your spine. Maybe you just feel as if the energy is going up into your head and your head is getting a little bit bigger, a little bit swollen. Maybe you have the first knot. I have those old videos about the 3 knots, right? Okay, so you might feel that magnetic sensation in the spiritual eye. You might feel energy come up and burst into your heart. So there are all of these Kundalini type symptoms. And I just love all of the Kundalini community. I think it's a wonderful place to begin to understand what is happening. But don't stop there, because after 1 or 2 or 3 big experiences, it might start happening more subtly. It's as if, in some cases, it's as if a huge truck has plowed through the spine, and now the way is more clear, and so you're not going to have that need for that huge truck to plow through the spine again. The way is open, and now it starts happening more subtly. Or you're just a smart fellow and you've been doing the Om Japa in the chakras and you've been cleaning it out all this time, and so you don't need that big huge truck to plow through the spine. Everything's kind of opening up. You're clearing the way very naturally and wonderfully. You're doing the 3 insurance policies, Mahamudra, Navi, and Om Japa in the chakras. I talk about this all the time. That's the right way to do it. Clear the way, get everything out of the way. And then you can notice maybe a big energy sensation, maybe a mild energy sensation, maybe a very mild energy sensation, maybe a very subtle energetic sensation, and more importantly, I felt my consciousness move up the spine. That's the roll-up of consciousness. I call it the roll-up of consciousness because one time I had this huge experience, and it felt as if, do you remember those old roller shades? You'd pull them down and then you'd let go and it would just snap back up, right? And sometimes it would snap back up and it would hit the top of the roller so powerfully that it would just go. Well, one time I had this experience where the consciousness, I felt the little subtle energy, but most importantly, the consciousness just snapped up the spine and it just rolled up into the brain. And I had this image from my childhood of those roller shades. And it helped me to realize you're not pushing up. No, you are falling back to the brain. That is the home of the roller shade. And when you're pulling it down, you're almost pulling it down unnaturally because it wants to go back and be rolled up. So that's why I call it a roll-up of consciousness. But you don't have to call it that. One of my students, she calls it an ascension. She's ascending into the brain. Beautiful and perfect. So call it what you like, but it's beyond just noticing the energy. You've noticed that your consciousness has also risen up the spine, and this is more subtle. This is a much more subtle understanding of what is taking place rather than being wholly focused on just the energy. It's not just the energy. It's not about the energy. It's about the consciousness. This is really what yoga is all about. And so my guru, Ashokji, he told me, do whichever kriya lodges you the most powerfully into the medulla. That's a direct quote from him. And he's talking about one specific roll-up into the medulla, but it might happen into your heart. It might happen into your throat. It might happen into your medulla. It might happen into stages between the medulla and the crown. It might go all the way into the crown. All of that is correct. All of that is a roll-up of consciousness. And so you might feel a degree of energy, but most importantly, as one student said to me, I felt as if my center of gravity of his consciousness had moved up into my heart. That's it. That's a roll-up into the heart. So I see these New Age posts all the time, and they're very sweet, they're very loving, kind people, and they're saying, love, 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 love. But is it really love? Because if you are actually in love, you are above your worries. So let's test ourselves. I felt, Forrest, I felt this energy come up into my heart. It came up, maybe it came up into my throat, and I felt more love. Sometimes it will feel like an explosion. Sometimes it's very subtle, and it's just like I am in loving kindness. Perfect. That's it. That's all you need. It doesn't have to be this gigantic experience. It can happen very, very subtly. One yogini told me it felt as if I was up on a mountain, that I was lifted up to the top of a mountain, and I was looking down on my own life. Her center of gravity had moved up, and she's looking down on her life from a much more clear and higher view. That's it. That's all it is. Very, very subtle. Not necessarily a huge explosion of energy, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't have to be that. So I felt this energy rise up. I felt a little something in my heart. I felt some love. Maybe I felt compassion. Maybe I felt joy. And it was maybe I felt peace. Maybe I felt bliss. And it was very, very spontaneous. I was not looking for it. I was not manufacturing it. It just happened spontaneously. Beautiful. That's a roll-up of consciousness. Great. How do we test it? Well, what about a consistent worry? Do you have any consistent worries in your life? When you look back on your life and you think of a worry that you seem to have over and over and over again that comes up, and you deal with it as you can, and then, the worry does come back. Do you have one of these mild worries, these mild recurring worries in your life? Maybe it's money. Maybe it's paying your rent. Maybe it's paying your mortgage. Does this worry come up and it kind of gnaws at you a little bit now and again? We want a mild worry. We don't want a gigantic worry that just consumes our brain, right? We want a mild worry that we can reflect on and see if it's still there. So did you have this worry yesterday or today or last week? Did you have this little worry and you actually felt worried? You can actually go back and remember that and feel that. Okay, perfect. Now you're in meditation. You experience the roll-up into your heart. Or maybe you're just sitting on your couch and you're practicing the cute baby meditation and you feel pulled up into your heart. Now, am I actually in a roll-up of consciousness? Go back in your mind while you're in that state and look on that past mild worry. Can it touch you? Can it pull you down? Can you look at it and go, not today. Maybe I'll worry about that tomorrow, but not today. No, I don't care. It's not pulling me down. Yeah, it's something I will have to address. I will have to look at it. I'll have to work on this, sure. I live here in this world. I will have to do that. But is it pulling me down? Am I becoming consumed with worry? No, not even. Not even. In fact, when you're really powerfully in that roll-up, you will look back on those worries and you'll laugh. You'll laugh at yourself, you will laugh at life, you will laugh at the world and say, this is hilarious. Why would I consume my time with this nonsense, this childishness? No. I'm not getting sucked down into that today. Thank you very much. That's it. Oh my God. Pat yourself on the back. I have graduated in this moment to the heart. And maybe we'll get pulled down tomorrow. Maybe we'll come out of the meditation and a few hours later, we'll get pulled back down into some kind of worry, some kind of mess we have to clean up. Yeah, welcome to life. That's okay. That's not the point. The point is you were shackled. And for a bloody minute, you unshackled yourself. Oh my God, you did it. Do you see anybody else unshackling themselves on a continual basis over and over and over and over again? Every day I come into this room, I sit down here and I meditate and I unshackle myself. And maybe it's a minute, maybe it's 10, maybe it's 20 minutes, maybe 3 hours I'm unshackled, maybe a day, maybe a week. Oh my God. Sometimes you get pulled up into bliss and you stay in bliss for days and days and days and days. And then life grinds you down and it sucks you back down into these lower concerns. Yeah, welcome to life. It's bloody hard. It's bloody messy. Yes, this is the crazy story that we are in, and that's okay. But you unshackled yourself for a moment. Do you know what this means? Yeah, the shackles, okay, maybe I come out and yeah, I get pulled down into worry. Oh my God, the shackle is on me now. But oh my God, I have the key. Forrest gave me the key. Kriya gave me the key. Lahira Mashaya gave me the key. I've got the bloody key to unshackle myself. Holy mackerel. You have the key, you see. And you have gained the wisdom to understand what it is to be free. The whole point of yoga is that roll-up of consciousness. Yeah, tranquil breath, freeze response, yes. That is going to quiet you down so you can actually appreciate what is going on. But the big thing, the thing that which we actually need is that roll-up of consciousness back into the deep brain. That's it. That's what we actually showed up for. That's the actual point of the yoga, is this freedom that naturally arises. And you've got the key. You've got the key. Don't worry if you get shackled again. No, that doesn't matter. The point is you have the key. And when you're calmed down, and when the conditions are right, you can do it again. And you unshackle yourself over and over and over again, and it becomes a habit. And then you start questioning, why am I continuously, okay, I unshackle myself and then I run and I find a way to shackle myself again. And then I unshackle myself and then I run and I find a way to shackle. Does this make sense in your life? No, wait a minute. Can I just like stay free for a longer period of time? And then you stay free for a longer period of time and then a longer period of time. And then, oh my God, I am addicted to this freedom. I don't need this junk of the world. I came out of a samadhi one time and I said this joke to myself, and it's still hilarious. Oh my God, here we go, back to the mud ball. Yeah, Life is a mud ball. This is just a big mud ball we call Earth, and it's beautiful, but it's a mud ball, okay? And you're learning to free yourself from all those worries that take everybody down. And they can have love, 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 love on their lips, but really, are they just pointing at it? Hell yeah, I'm down here in the worry, I'm down here in the depression, I'm down here in the desperation, and I'm pointing at the love. But am I actually there? Am I actually above the worry? Am I actually free? Did I actually unshackle myself? After love comes wisdom, the throat chakra. What does wisdom give you automatically? Compassion. Compassion for everything. Not this and this and this. Everything. Everything I have compassion for. Everything. Doesn't mean you give way. It doesn't mean you don't say no to things. It just means I understand and I have compassion. Out of that compassion comes a spontaneous joy. What is this joy of? Freedom. Oh my God, I've risen so high. I'm free. I taste that freedom. I have unshackled myself all the way up. And I taste that freedom and boom, spontaneous joy. And then you have peace, you have love, you have joy, you have wisdom, you have compassion, and it's so much and it's so refined. Automatically it becomes this beautiful word we call equanimity. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. And you rest in that equanimity. It's just huge and expansive. Your whole life becomes huge and expansive. And you taste this freedom over and over and over again. And you get a little addicted to that freedom. And everybody wants to pull you down. Hey, I'm worried about this. Come join me in my misery. Hey, I'm worried about this. Come join me in my misery. And you say, oh my God, I have compassion. But no, thank you, not today. I was talking to a yogini and she gave me this gorgeous story. So she is a very accomplished yogini and she also loves Buddhism and she will even attend a Buddhist group, but she's not so great at all of the memorization. So the Buddhists nowadays, they love all these lists. They have tons of lists. They're very, very helpful, very, very useful, and they love to memorize all of them. And so I was talking with this yogini about the 4 Brahma Viharas: loving kindness, compassion, joy, equanimity. I'm talking to her about this and she goes, oh yeah, I was in this Buddhist group and there's this one woman that always finds it funny that I can't remember that list. It just escapes me. So all these lists, I don't remember any of them. And so she will ask me if I remember the list and I will say no, and she will give a little chuckle. She'll give a little smirk. A condescending smirk. And usually when she does this, this yogini is telling me, I will feel, oh, I didn't make the grade. You know, she'll feel some of that, right? And it will weigh on her. And this day, it happened again, and she didn't remember the 4 Brahma Viharas, and this woman smirked. She gave a little chuckle, a little smirk of condescension. And this yogini of mine, she says, and in that moment, I realized that's her story. I don't have to get caught up into her story. And usually I would. I would feel bad. Oh my God, I'm supposed to remember these things and I don't. And I would get caught up in her story. I'd become a part of her story and get all wrapped up egoically into her story. And I realized, wait a minute, that's her story. I don't have to do that. And in that moment, I felt compassion. And I'm on the phone going, oh my God, this is gorgeous. And do you see the irony? I mean, it's hilarious. Can you see the irony? I mean, we got to laugh at these things, right? Life is learning and learning is funny. It's joyous. Can you see the irony in that? This woman is preaching to her about the 4 Brahma Viharas. Meanwhile, my yogini is doing the 4 Brahma Viharas, and when the woman smirked at her condescendingly, she didn't get wrapped up in the story. Instead, she had a Brahma Vihara. She had compassion automatically. She didn't try, she didn't push, she didn't yank, she just had it. It arose spontaneously out of her own understanding, her own wisdom. I don't have to get caught up in this. And the compassion sprang forth automatically. And it was real. It was real. A real compassion. I really felt compassion for her. Isn't that hilarious? Here we are preaching the 4 Brahma Viharas. Here we are doing the 4 Brahma Viharas. Amazing. Beautiful. Gorgeous story. Gorgeous story. So how do we get into this roll-up of consciousness? HRV resonance. Sitting very still. Noticing the 4 proofs. That is the low idle state. Then we want to do some Om Japa in the chakras. We want to clean out the way. And the low idle state and the sitting very still and the Om Japa in the chakras, right? And doing especially the Navi Kriya. That's in the Guardian video, okay? Navi Kriya and the Om Japa in the chakras. We clear the way. And the energy and the consciousness pops up into the heart. That's where you first might notice it. And then it might go up into the throat, and it might go up into the medulla, and it might go up into the crown, and it might start going into expansion. That's a mini absorption. Until there's nothing but expansion. That's a samadhi. That is the route of yoga. That's the whole point of yoga. Yoga means union. It is pointing you to this union of consciousness. And that's the route. And it's not a pushing up. No, it's a falling back to what is actually your home, the home of your soul. So we clear the way, and then we notice, oh, I think I'm in loving kindness. I think I'm in a little bit of wisdom, a little bit of compassion, a little bit of joy, a little bit of bliss. I feel as if I have risen up above the old concerns I have. And then you look back on one of those old concerns. Can I be wrapped up in that right now? Can I worry about that? Nope. Not going to touch me today. I am above it right now, in this moment. I have unshackled myself. Hallelujah. You did it. That's it. That's the whole point. So I hope you love this. If you did, be sure to hit that bell down below so I can see all of you next time.